Okay, day 61.
Yes. We just ate a lot of food. That was good.
We did eat a lot of food. I'm pretty sure I ate my feelings because today was like this roller coaster day of like up and down and up and down and up and down.
It seems like every day is that way.
And we get good news and then we get bad news. And we get good news and then we get bad news. And we go see our kids and we're so excited to see them. And I brought orange balloons today and Jeremy says I can't bring balloons anymore because the little kids make it. And Rejoice, God love her, she turned it into a whole different game where she was like basically it's like pop rocks in her mouth. Like just
yeah.
So Jeremy says no more balloons, but I like to try to bring something every day for them to play with. Otherwise, they get bored, and I always bring like cookies or snacks, and they know that. They're like digging in my bag. I'm like, don't you get my bag?
Sneaky.
Usually let our kids pass those out, which is fun. Today was cool because all 5 of our kids, so our 2 Liberian daughters and our 3 American daughters, like they've talked to each other, but usually our Liberian daughters are pretty glued to us. They are sitting with us, talking to us. They don't really let us out of their sight. The little one will kind of run around and do her thing, but she hasn't really played directly with our American kids. Like all the other orphans will play with them, but they've been either scared to play with them or they've just been so obsessed with us. But they're both they're kind of hard to read at first. But today, we were able to, Michelle Davenport came and she brought a storybook Bible for our oldest daughter in the orphanage that asked for a Bible. Jeremy thought she was saying apple. Finally, we figured out it was Bible because it sounded like she was saying eyeball, like eyeball. And so we were like, maybe it's eyeball, like
the B was
maybe it's
really...
sunglasses. Like we couldn't figure it out. But finally, we figured it out. I figured it out because I was like, oh, Bible. Because she kept asking. I mean, she gave us like another chance. It's not like she just faded.
Yeah.
I was able to give some storybooks that Anna Clark had sent through Michelle Davenport for her daughters and able to give those to her. And her daughters are trying to figure out the names of their kids, like their siblings, which are complicated. They're not complicated names, but there's just 4 of them. So, and they all kind of favor each other too. So, then one of them, like there's the oldest and the youngest look similar, but then the middle ones, they kind of look similar too, in a book and a picture. So. Anyway, they gave those. I have more gifts for more kids to do tomorrow. I just couldn't bring them all today. We replaced their soccer ball that got run over by a car, not our car, but.
I got to read out of that book you were talking about. I got to read
storybook
stories.
Bible?
Yeah, I got to read 2 stories to our older Liberian daughter. That was fun.
She was really interested. She can read herself, but some of it. She made me nervous. So it's good because she's 7 and she can read, and that's a big deal in Liberia because these kids are supposed to just be in this orphanage for like 6 months to maybe a year and a half. And then there should be adopted. So there shouldn't be a huge need for school. But our kids have been there for 3 years. The little girl that got to leave today had been there for 4. There's kids that have been there for 5 years. So, and they're just on the older end. And I look at them and I just... Like, if you were to go visit that orphanage and were unmatched, you would pick those older kids. Not because of anything about them, except for that they're older, they're more mature, but they're still just really cool kids. And they haven't had really any big life experiences yet. It's Groundhog Day at the orphanage. When you see how they care for the younger kids, and they're good leaders, and they're steady ships. And it's just, you can't beat a steady ship, Like the oldest boy that's there specifically, I would love to adopt him. And under different circumstances we could, but we kind of max at 5 girls. And there's no way right now to set up our house for a boy to fit. It'd be like, we already knocked down some walls. But at the same time, every time I look at this one older kid, I'm like, I wish we could make that work. Just because they're good kids. So just if you're the waiting game, just keep that in mind. And once you guys once the police investigation's lifted and they can start matching families again, if you guys have direct questions, once you've read a referral, and you have the information ahead of you that I don't even have, you can always call me and be like, Jimo's letting us see if we want to pick this one. Do you remember them? And at that point, I can kind of collaborate with you. I can't call you up and be like, so...
Guess what?
Because some of you guys I've gotten to be friends with, and I got another sweet email today from Betsy, and I was like, oh, it just really lifted my spirits because today we felt good about things when we woke up, and then like halfway through the day we were like, things are still okay, and then as soon as we got in the car, we got more information that we were like, ugh.
Yes.
And then we got home, and then we listened to more stuff from Anna about her meeting with the staff member from Stugie's office, and we were like, but we were so hungry, so we had to eat first before we could do that. And I'm learning to crochet, and I made a lizard, and the lizard's head and body are completely disproportionate. But my kids still like her, and they named her Iguana. She's supposed to be an iguana. They want me to make an alligator next and transform it into a dragon. But I didn't let them bring hardly any toys, so they're literally making their own toys out of like string and trash, like paper and stickers.
I think
so.
You on this roller coaster of emotions, it's almost like you're obsessed with any information. It's like,
yeah.
You have to take it in immediately and figure out, like, okay, what's this mean for us and all the other families? But
and then your imagination combined with that information is just like, I took a shower before we went to the orphanage today, just because I finally had to take the braids out of my hair. And then I get there and they just mess with my hair. So they're just like obsessed with my hair. I had it like braided back where they wouldn't even think that they could mess with it. But sure enough, they totally did. And then two of them were like pulling my hair different ways. And I'm like, this is awful. So it's kind of some of the reasons that kids don't go all the way through. And sometimes the reason the embassy can pick apart an adoption is because to be a true orphan in Liberia matters. And like in the U.S., if I wanted to place my children for adoption with someone that I knew or didn't know, and I had reasons for it, nobody really scrutinizes those reasons. It's not like illegal for me. Like, say I'm, 25 years old, I'm in grad school, and I'm not married or whatever, and I'm just like a capable person, probably could care for a kid easily by myself, but just am not ready to make that parenting commitment. And so I place the kid for adoption and I move on with my life. However that looks, no one questions that. That is not what happens here. So if a child is going to be adopted by an American citizen, they have to be orphan status by U.S. law. A child does not have to be orphan status to be placed for adoption in the U.S. They don't even have to, there's no real reason you have to have. The counselors want to know your reason because they want to make sure you're comfortable with your decision, understand it.
Mm-hmm.
The judge wants to know a little bit. But they read that in a report. The judge, we adopted our oldest child. The judge, by no means, the birth parents weren't even there for the final judgment. They were there before. They had terminated their rights voluntarily, and I was not in that proceeding. But if they don't question them openly in court the way they do here in the U.S. Embassy. They don't make it a public thing. But so you can't. So if I were to adopt a Liberian child here as a U.S. citizen that was not an orphan by Liberian law and U.S. law, I cannot immigrate that child to the U.S. So what the U.S. Embassy is trying to say now is that these kids aren't true orphans. Now, the kids that are our agency in our orphanage where we are getting our kids are true orphans because they do preemptive voluntary investigative reports by the staff there. And they almost always match the Ministry of Gender's reports because they are that accurate. Sometimes you'll have extra detail in the second report because time has passed, maybe. Maybe someone passed away. Maybe, there's things that have happened, but it's always still consistent with the first story. And there's no way to, make that up because they're independent investigations. And they're usually a couple years apart or at least a year apart, would you say? About a year and a half at least?
Most of the time.
Yeah. And, the first initial investigative report happens before the kids can enter the orphanage. I guess unless there's an emergency, but even then, it's very detailed where the orphanage director and the staff go to the place. They ask multiple people. They make sure that this is not, that this is an appropriate placement.
Yeah.
And there's times that they've had to say, listen, you don't qualify for our program because you are actually, whether you think you are or not, on paper, you're still a capable parent, so you're going to have to keep trying. And then other times where they don't have space and they've had to say, they did find a way to give that poor woman that came to the orphanage a couple of videos ago some rice, and they were able to find a phone number for her. And so there are things in motion to look out for her, and hopefully get her kids there. Because that's going to be an impossible situation for her to remedy in the time frame that she has. Her kids did not. They're flirting with disaster for sure. But we did find out that the orphanage is able to give rice to people in need, just even if they wanted to give rice like a homeless person, that's at the door. That's not considered coercion or payment in any way. So
It's just helping.
she's not really a client yet anyway.
Helping your fellow man.
Yeah, she's just doing the right thing apparently. We did find out that our orphanage director, he's quite enthusiastic again about getting this stuff done. He had been very attacked by several entities that just all have been proven. All of the accusations have been proven false. So
Yes.
we'll see that final report soon, and then we can move forward with the Liberian side, and then we can face our U.S. government too. So, and it's just different because like today we saw a little girl walking around here that we know from the orphanage and where she's with her family, and she's going back to Tennessee, and she's like gonna live in my old stomping grounds as a kid. Like, and I know the community of people she's going back with, and I'm so happy for her. And we see that, and we're like, gosh, unicorns. We see them. There she is, you know, and
I want that to be us.
yeah, and it's great. But like, then we hear about other situations that are no different than hers, that are getting different news and different feedback, and they're in this holding pattern, and their parents are just grieving this time lost, and then they're asking questions: is this ever going to complete? All these kind of questions, and then it just hits you in the gut, and it makes you question a lot. So these moments of just like sheer panic and doubt, and then these moments of complete peace that this is going to be fine. But regardless, we've decided to be here. So we can either choose to operate as if everything's going to be fine and not let anything steal the joy of being their parents today. Or we can choose to grasp at every little piece of information and hold it on, try to read into it, and try to figure out what else it is and what else it's not. And just drive ourselves nuts. And, you know, those are our options right now. So I'm going to go grab something. I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll go grab something.
Okay.
I'm not going far. I'm just
See,
going to my phone.
you may have noticed today that I shaved, so it was really hot today, and I'm like, man, I'm itchy, and I don't have my trimmer, so I, like around my mouth it gets itchy. I'm like, this has got to go. So hopefully our Liberian kids will recognize me tomorrow. Well, they won't be like, who's this strange
I don't
man?
think they'll freak out. You're pretty there's like 2 white guys that show up at the orphanage fairly frequently, and the other one is Sam, and I mean, he may be your new bro, but you guys don't really favor.
We don't. It's a true story. True story.
So I've kind of decided, what I've done is, I don't really talk about my faith probably as much as I maybe should or could. I try to more live my life in such a way that my faith is not really like in question. And we do a lot of words on these videos, and I don't think people put much stock into words. I think it's more actions than anything. But one of the things that I have really thought a lot about is just why we're doing this. Yeah, go get the walkie-talkie.
Okay.
While we talk to my middle child, she'll start in a minute saying ring-a-ling-a-ling because she's trying to talk to us on the walkie-talkie.
Hi, we're doing our videos. Everything okay?
We were yelling at them earlier, you cannot stay up till midnight again, because here it's 11:15.
Yeah, it's on. So if you need anything, let me know.
You're watching what?
It's being recorded.
It is, so I'll talk to you
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody. Go.
Bye.
So, James 1:27, the New Living Translation, and the NIV have different translations, but the New Living Translation for James 1:27 says, "Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you." And that whole statement is just very clear that like the world is going to try to corrupt you. If you go to the NIV version, the phrasing is a little different. But what it says, it's the same principle, but in the NIV version, which is kind of what I grew up reading, religion that God our Father, this is James 1:27 again, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. And polluted is like watered down or contaminated or distracted. I think it's distracting because sometimes we get so bogged down on the good news, the bad news, the what ifs. And sometimes that's the thing that keeps us going, but it's emotionally driven. And sometimes it's the thing that doesn't. And at the end of the day, no matter what our emotions say, like love is a decision. And we've decided to love these kids. But there's a lot of words going around. And there's some times that I get frustrated, even with the people that are on our side. Sometimes I'm like I'll be reading like Facebook chat or like a WhatsApp chat, and I'm like I'm glad they can't see my face sometimes. And they're all saying good things, and we're all in the same boat, and I'm sure they think the same about me sometimes. But I'm like that's not appropriate here, or like I'll just have this moment of just, I don't want to hear any more bad news, or I don't want to hear any more negativity. And then even sometimes this stuff that's really, really positive, I'm like, I just don't want to hear any more positive stuff. I just want to be in a dark moment. And that goes back and forth. And that is about me, not about them. And I'm certainly not leaving any of those groups because they keep me going, good or bad. But that's another way to let the world pollute you with good things, like things that are trying to help you. But it still gets this out of me, it's not the news I wanted. That's not the news I wanted to hear today. But the verse right before verse 27 in James 1 is verse 26. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. So I'm going to read that one more time. And this is not, I'm not trying to come against my peers that are in this process. And I'm not trying to specifically say these people need to really consider their words and their written word as well as their verbal word and their conversations with other people and myself included. We really need to keep a tight rein on what we really want to say. And, as part of these videos, because it gives Jeremy and I a chance and a space to say what we really want to say. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. And then if you look at the New Living Translation, I feel like the New Living Translation is a little more direct. And people use the word religious loosely. But if you have faith in something, you have faith in a higher power, you have religion. You can get caught up in the semantics of it, but religious is devoting yourself to a higher power or acknowledging a higher power to direct you. So if you claim to be religious but don't control your tongue, you are fooling yourself, and your religion is worthless. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. So there have been some times that I needed to rein in my tongue, and I sometimes don't do it successfully, and sometimes I do it successfully. I try to let my deepest, darkest anger and fear not be heard by everyone, but I don't necessarily mask it either. But when we're ready to throw stones at each other for what our thoughts are on the process and who's doing what, I just want to say that those of us that are in this process, Jeremy and I included, we need to keep control and a tight rein on our tongue and our words, especially when we're dealing with government officials in the U.S. government as well as the Liberian government, because we are standing there modeling the gospel by choosing these children. And if you're called to adopt has to do with your faith and you're wanting to follow God's lead on that, and you do not keep a tight rein on your tongue, then if you were hoping that your adoption would be an example to other people, you just blew it. So if you claim to be religious but don't control your tongue, and I think all of us have had some heated things to say, I just want to encourage those that are in this battle with us, those that have just finished their battle and are considering lawsuits and IG complaint. Do your lawsuits, do your complaints, do your courts, do the due diligence, but Do it with the desire to want an objective, truthful process that's in the best interest of these kids. Don't just do it because you're angry about what happened to you. Do it because of the lost time. Do it because of all of that. But don't just do it because you feel like it's unfair to you. Do it because it needs to be done to bring accountability to this process. But don't do it with a loose tongue. Do not write an email with a loose tongue. Do not get on Facebook Messenger with a loose tongue. Do not call anyone but your best friends with a loose tongue. And if you need to have a loose tongue moment and you need to call me and be like, I am miserable in this process, I'm ready to give up, and I need you to just have a loose tongue moment. I need to get it out. And when I'm done, I need you to put me back, pick me back up, dust me off, and put me back on the right road. Like, I am your girl. We can do that. I know, and I have those friends too, but don't publicly put yourself in a position to bring anything to this process that is not wholesome and uplifting for these children's future.
If you want to call me, I'll jump in the pigsty with you too.
Yeah, but we'll still redirect. It's not appropriate for a public forum. It's not appropriate for emails. It's not appropriate for letters. It's not appropriate for voicemails. It's not appropriate for Facebook Messenger. It's not appropriate for WhatsApp. It's not appropriate. It's because it's not gonna win. Loose tongue is not gonna win. If you find yourself a little spouty in the mouth, it's okay, but just find a safe place to do that. And then put those demons to rest and get back up. And I feel like I go through those waves of putting those demons to rest and getting back up every day. Multiple times a day.
Yeah, multiple times.
But I think in my maturity and my will to survive this and unite and and save these kids' lives. Because it's not just our kids. So if we bail now, just 2 kids, right? We're just bailing on 2 kids. No, we can't do that because we are a link in a chain of this process. And if we bail, then we're just going to bring question and doubt to every other child's case.
When it's 2 other kids that don't have a spot.
Yeah, so we're not going to bail. We would never bail on them, even if we have to become Liberian missionaries. So we're not going to bail on these kids. I've got to get my dog here, though. I mean, we're not going to bail on these kids. Those of you that are waiting to be matched, we're not going to bail on your kids. We're going to do everything we can to not only get our kids home, but to smooth this road. And we're going to do it with honey and not bee stings. You catch more bees. Jeremy's like, catch more bees with honey. I'm like, I'm so mad about this. And he's like, but you catch more bees with honey. I think I say it more than he does now. So it's going to be okay. Those of you that are waiting to be matched, thank you for reaching out to us. There's 4 of you that have reached out to me on a fairly, recent basis. And I'm excited for you guys. I see these kids running around. I'm like, oh. Like Nelson was asking us today, like, does this little guy have a family? And because he's just so clingy. He's clingy on all of us. He's like falling asleep on me. I thought he did have a family, but he doesn't. He's little. He's like probably 2.5 or 3. And he just still has that, like, I need my mama to hold me, like, thing going on. And it's today it was Nelson, who's our friend who runs another orphanage here, who graciously drives us around every day that we need him to. And but 2 days ago it was me he was sleeping on, and he's hung on Jeremy so much that Jeremy's like, dude. But he still has that I just need my mom to rock me kind of thing. He's not matched. There's another kid with I think a similar name than him. I was confused. But he's not matched. And there's a little girl about his age. She's not matched. We talk about the older kids a lot, but the little kids are important too. There's another little toddler that is matched, and I try to pick him up and hug him every day. And he in that phase of I just want my mama to hold me. He's running and going and doing and throwing things, and he keeps trying to grab everything. He tries to eat the markers and then throws them around, and he's just in it. Totally different emotional state for him. It's a little younger than the other one, but he's a matched kiddo. So, anyways, this video went a little longer than I wanted to, but I just want to encourage you guys that don't give up. If you're through the process, please continue to do it with niceties. If you're halfway through the process and like me, and you have these moments and waves of sheer like terror and panic, like what did we agree to? That's okay. Just ride it out. It's just like being in labor. They say to ride the labor wave, and I did natural childbirth at one point, and I was like, this is hard. But you got to ride it out, and there's no difference here.
I feel like the contractions are getting closer.
I got to tell him about, I don't know how I got to talking about childbirth, but I was talking about Jeremy's game face. And like I was when our second bio was about to be born, and I was doing the natural childbirth thing, and like my doctor was on her way home. Everybody went home. Like they were all gonna take a break. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna be at this for another like 8 or 10 hours," and I was like, "What?" And then like immediately, like 30 minutes later, we're like all holding passing around the baby. So my doctor's like running back from her car. They're paging her overhead. And my best friend's like, "I need to go get the doctor because I think you're about to deliver." I'm like, she went home to take a shower because it really looked like nothing was happening. So it's just me and Jeremy in the delivery room. And I'm like, I don't think that I can like stop. Like, I don't know that I have control over the situation. Like if she's coming out, like, I don't think I can stop it. And he's like, what did you say? He's like, "It's okay. I was here the last time you had a baby. Everything, if I know what to do, I've read the books, I've watched the videos, we're in it. If she's born, I'll catch her, and it'll be fine." And he was so genuine, and I'm looking at him thinking, you're one of the biggest hypochondriacs I've ever met, and I'm in medicine.
That's about myself.
And so on the inside, I'm sure he's dying, but I believed him. I'm like, he's got this. Just relax your body. And it literally was like,
it was close.
I mean, we're talking like 3 or 4 minutes. And my doctor's like, she didn't even have like her isolation gown on. She's like, "It's the glove," and the gloves aren't even on, and we're catching the baby. So it was a really sweet moment. But like, it reminds me of that, this wave of like the wave of like, am I ever really going to get through this? Or we're almost done, And I remember Devin repeated that to me because she was like with me during my labor, and she's like, "You're already doing it. You're already done. It's just consider it done. You're already in it. There's no going back now." And and she wouldn't say like how long, because I'd be like, "How much longer do you think this?" She's like, that's not really what's important to think about. What's important to think about is you're doing a beautiful job. Everything is going perfectly. Everything is going great. You're in it. You're doing it. You're doing a good job, like over and over and over. And so that's something to keep in mind. So if you're waiting to be matched, if you're waiting for the embassy, if you're waiting for the Ministry of Gender, whatever you're doing, don't let anything steal your joy of being their parents today, because that's important, because that's what you are, It's exactly what you are. When you send pictures, and those of you that are legally allowed to send pictures and videos, and you're in this mess of unknowns, and those of you that are sending presents and gifts and books, and those of you that are like us and the Bruces who are just here or on your way, just don't let anything steal that joy. Protect it, guard it, and rein in your tongue, because it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. Am I believable?
Yeah.
I do mean that.
Did you hear what I said about the contractions getting closer?
Yeah, I did. That's good, right? Is it good, or is it the Pitocin? It's hard to say.
I keep...
Pitocin's like this medicine they give you to make you have contractions, and that's just a whole different story of why I had to have Pitocin for natural childbirth, because, without an epidural, it's hard. You can do it. If you're considering it, you can do it.
I keep envisioning in my head, like, what it's going to be like the day we get to bring our librarian kids home and, like, get to see our house and everything. It's kind of cool.
I know. I think about that, too.
All the time, man.
I think about that, too. We don't show them, like, pictures of our house, pictures of our room. We would try to live in the present with them, because it would be like telling me about Mars and acting like it's good. It's just not. I have talked to them about the airplane some. I'm glad we got the Wonderfold fixed to a functional status. And I'm going to pile those kids in there and pretend like they can't walk at the gate and be like, "Oh, they're handicapped. Are you sure? I can't take this to the gate because I need the Wonderfold." Because our flights home were in like 20-something hours. So when I canceled our flights, Ace Sky was fantastic. They were like, "Just call us whenever you're ready to rebook and we'll make it work," which I did not think. I thought I was going to have to eat that. Delta, once I got to the right person after 50 minutes on hold, she was great. She's like, "No, your tickets expire like February of next year. Like this tickets are a little different because of Sky Miles. If you have questions about that directly, let me know. It's gonna be fine." So, and here at the Tropicana, they allowed us to keep the same rate, and we've been really happy here. It really meets our needs. And one thing that really meets our needs is like we could probably go live somewhere cheaper, but like we wouldn't have like the pool and the beach and the air conditioner and the backup generator and all of the things. And our kids are comfortable here, and it's safe here. Like Jeremy can leave and go wherever, and I don't feel like I need to like be on guard. It's like I feel like we're pretty safe. I mean, I'm not gonna go take a nap, but we're still actively parenting. But it's a good place. So we're set in to stay till minimum April 8th, maybe longer. Do you
Yes.
feel like the contractions are getting closer together?
Yes.
Is that like as a bystander, or you feel like you're going through contractions?
No, I feel like I'm in it with you now.
Remember you used to talk about your forearms?
Oh,
Jeremy
yeah.
was like when I was in labor, he pressed on my back for me when we did and the epidural route. He took a nap.
Like every
But
time
the natural childbirth, and I didn't need him. Like he was asleep.
I
And I was
just look at
fine.
my poor forearms.
He talked about his forearms for months, and I was like,
I know it's not the
"If
same.
you talk about those forearms one more time, stop."
I know it's not the same, but I was pushing on your back. That was the only thing that like relieved the pressure.
Oh yes, that was the only thing that helped. And then like my friends would try to do it. And I'm like, I just need you to wake him up because he's stronger than you. And it's
It
weird.
was like the 10 minutes I got to sleep.
Yeah.
That was fun.
This is a different labor.
It is.
It is.
Roger.
You seem like you're in a better mood. Jared was in such a bad mood earlier tonight. He's like yelling at me. So we come in from like visiting the orphanage, and we'd heard some bad
was
news
no
about some of our
yelling.
friends. And there's no yelling, but you know, I'm like, I'm pretty clear with all of you guys. And if you haven't watched any of our videos, let me just clue you in. I can't cook anything. I can make a pretty good omelet. I usually don't mess up pancakes and peanut butter sandwiches and Christmas crack. It's like this chocolate extravaganza. But like other than that, like I do not do food or meal planning. Like we all have our strengths, and I could tell you what mine are, but they're not that. And I don't drive anywhere without the GPS, without Google Maps and accurate. Like we can't lose a signal. Like if we're gonna lose a signal, we have downloaded beforehand because I will be thinking about who knows what, and I'll be driving who knows where, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, we're in Sierra Leone, and I don't know why they let me cross the border. Like, oh, so Jeremy's like, I'm like, so what are we gonna do for dinner? Are we just gonna like order from the restaurant here at the hotel, or are we gonna like, you have a plan? He's like, I don't know, I'm doing the dishes. The one thing we don't have to do, like we pretty much decided we're gonna order something, and even if we're not, it's not like the sink is needed to cook dinner. And like the kids are running around like crazy. I was like, all right, they're so jazzed up. They love the orphanage. We went to the China Mall and saw that extravaganza. Jeremy's ready to punch every man that looked at our kids, specifically our oldest child, who looks like she's like 13 or 14.
Yeah, man, these guys looking at my
He was
kid.
so mad.
Like,
But I was like,
dude.
oh, this place has so many things.
Like walking by, like looking at these guys.
Walking
like,
around, Jeremy's like, it's boiling. So it was boiling before we got the bad news about a friend of ours, some of our friends got some more delays, and so we were sad for them. And then he got that. So he was like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm washing dishes. And I'm like, oh, la-ti-da. I guess the dishes come first before your family. So then the kids are reading the menu. We've been here for 3 weeks. And they're like, what's fattoush?
We didn't get a new
And
menu.
what's shawarma? What's a chicken shawarma? And I'm like, I don't know. The internet's not working and I can't Google it. So I don't even know what this stuff is. And Jeremy's like, I'm washing dishes. Leave me alone. And I'm like, you are just, it's 7:30. Like it's 7:30 p.m. here. And
You know-
Jeremy's like, I gotta wash the dishes.
It's weird. Like we've taken a step back in time because you have to have the sink clean because you never know when you have to do laundry. Or
You don't have to have this. You could the dishes.
You- maybe
I just
not-
want
maybe
you.
not
I just
right
want you
now.
to admit on
But-
camera to the people that you were
Is
hiding
this
out,
an intervention?
doing the
Oh,
dishes.
I was doing the dishes.
You were hiding out from being our food provider, and you were mad. And you were mad at me. You're mad at everybody. You're mad at the kids. You're mad at the whole world.
Society.
Now, at least when Jeremy pouts, he does something productive. I'm gonna say. I think I'm
Almost
married up.
productive, yes.
But I was like, so I ordered like everything on the menu. We got garlic bread. We got French fries. We got pizza. We got pepperoni pizza. We got cheese pizza. Jeremy got a cheeseburger. I got chicken wings. I got some hummus. We got leftovers. Because I'm like, well, if you're not gonna help, I'm just gonna order one of everything.
I
just
went
made a list.
and ordered it. You didn't
And
order
then
it.
I made him, well, no, I wrote it down for him. And then I made him walk and go get it. And I'm like, get yourself an adult drink if you need to, but please come back in a better mood.
And I did.
And he did. And that was good. I'm washing the dishes.
Dishes are important.
This is what Jeremy looks like when he's mad and scared.
Rock and roll.
Okay. So, I don't want to be too preachy with the Bible.
Amen, sister.
But we are in a state of refusing, like the world, the government entities, statistics, cost, life, everything is trying to tell us this is the wrong road. And those are lies from the pits of hell. And we will not be corrupted by such lies. We're much stronger than that. So, to the evil forces that are trying to drag us down, I'm kind of like, what else you got?
Yes, we got some
'Cause
big wins coming.
We're staying. I think Liberia likes me.
Yes.
Okay. I love you.
Love you too.
Day 61?
Yes, that's what we said.
Yeah, day 61.